Welcome to the Rewards Master. Today we're going to look at the upsides and downsides of the BILT program, but particularly the BILT Mastercard, and whether or not it deserves a place in your wallet. So if you would hit the like and subscribe button and hang on as we dive in to examine all things BILT. Now, BILT came out just a few years ago with a really revolutionary concept in the travel game, because the BILT program is not just about a credit card. In fact, I heard on a recent video that perhaps only 15 to 20% of people who use the BILT platform have the BILT Mastercard. But particularly I want to talk about, because this channel is primarily about credit cards and rewards, I want to talk about having the BILT Mastercard, which I have, and I've had it for a while now, and what its benefits, what its upsides, and to look at it in a fair and honest way, what its downsides are. And I think it has a lot of upsides and a few downsides. And certainly there are way more upsides than downsides, but the downsides can be pretty severe and pretty discouraging at times. So I want us to dive into it together. So this long list of upsides starts with kind of the real superpower of the BILT Mastercard and the BILT program in general, which is the ability to earn points without any fee on both rent, which they've had for a long time, and they've promised that this year you're going to start being able to earn it on mortgage payments. Now, on the rent, I got the card back before, even though I'm a homeowner and I didn't have any rent to pay. And I was able to use this because there was kind of a loophole where if you had a Wells Fargo mortgage, which I did on one of my properties, and Wells Fargo is the issuing bank for the BILT Mastercard, and if you had that, you could pay your mortgage payment and you got the points just like you were paying a rent payment. So for quite some time I did that. I don't have that property anymore, so that kind of gravy train has been over for me. But it was incredibly awesome because there is no other way to do this. No other credit card company offers this feature where you can take and you can pay something that you got to pay anyway that's a really big expense, and you're going to get points for it. Now, you only get 1 point per dollar, but hey, on one of your biggest expenses, I think most people, their mortgage or their rent is their largest expense per month. And to be able to get points at all, even at 1 point per dollar, that is an incredibly powerful feature. And I think it's what's made the BILT program and the BILT Mastercard very, very popular. So I'm looking forward to later this year being able to use that card again to earn points on my mortgage payment, which is by far my largest expense every month. And I think when they roll that out, they're going to get a lot more card customers. So I'm excited for that feature to be expanded as they've promised in the very, very near future. The second thing that is an incredible upside is their transfer bonuses. This is really why I got the card, because like I said, I didn't know I could do that Wells Fargo thing. And at the time I was a homeowner, I didn't have a way to pay rent. So the reason I got the card is I kept seeing these amazing transfer bonuses. Now they just do them on the first of the month on what they call their rent day. And they are very random as far as who they partner with. But there were times you could get 75%, 100 if you had the right status, and we'll talk about that a little later in the video. But if you had the right status with BILT, you could even get like 150% on a transfer bonus. That is amazing. The best you're going to find ever on any of the other companies, American Express, Chase, Citi, Wells Fargo, any of those, is maybe 30 to 40% in a transfer bonus. So to get 75% or 100%, even though it was really random and it came about not too many times a year and had to be done on that one day of the month, those were just incredible values. So, you know, if you can transfer 50,000 points and get 100,000 air miles in things like Air France or Virgin or some of the different partners that they've had, those beat the competition all day, every day. And it is an incredible, incredible value. So I love that about the BILT program. It seems like they've kind of slowed that down a little bit, but they still offer them from time to time. And I think it's still a great, great upside of the BILT program. The next thing that we look at is their rent day bonuses. Now this one, I kind of have to put an asterisk to, because I'm going to, in the downsides, talk about it a little bit too. But on rent day, which is the first of the month, you get double points on what you use your card for. So if you use your card and you go and buy restaurant meals, or if you buy, say, a gift card to a restaurant, it's normally 3 points per dollar and you get 6 points per dollar only on the first of the month. That's true of everything. Their travel category that's normally 2, you're going to get 4 on the first day of the month. And on everything else that's normally 1, you're going to get 2 points on the first day of the month. And I have used this to great success. We know there's certain restaurants that my wife, my player 2, likes to eat at. So I would, for the longest time, every first of the month, my phone would give me a reminder and I'd pull out the BILT card and I'd go to 4, 5, 6 restaurants and I'd buy gift cards for us to use that month. And then I'd get double points. So I'd get 6 points per dollar, and it racked up pretty good. Now, they did nerf it some, and we'll talk about that in the downsides. But I still think the rent day is still pretty beneficial if a person wants to just get some extra points and they have the discipline to remember to use the card in a very specific way on the first day of the month. So that upside is still going, not as good as it once was, but still a boost to your points. So I'll take extra points any way I can get them. Now, the next thing that I want to examine is their transfer partners, which I think are a great upside. They have some really good transfer partners and some that nobody else has, particularly Alaska. And they're really kind of the shining ones. They have a lot of the normal ones, Air France and Virgin and the ones that everybody transfers to. But they transfer on the hotel side to Hyatt, which the only other one that does that is Chase. So to be able to transfer your points and get outsized value with Hyatt, which almost everybody agrees, Hyatt has the very, very best redemption rates, especially on lower end properties in the United States, than any of their competitors. So to be able to transfer to Hyatt, where you're often going to get 2+ cents per point value, that is a great, great, great deal. And then they've added Alaska. And Alaska is my go-to program for flights domestically in the United States on American Airlines, because you can get flights for sometimes 4,500 points one way, sometimes 7,500 points one way, or kind of at the top end, even coast to coast, if you find the Saver Award availability, which I find it a lot on there. On American, 12,500 points. For a domestic flight, that's real good. So to have Alaska as a transfer partner and to be Alaska's only transfer partner, well, there is that loophole right now through Hawaiian and American Express. But I mean, just directly to Alaska, BILT is their only transfer partner, which I think is an incredible, incredible upside. I think another upside of the card is that it has no annual fee. It's a really good card for no annual fee. I mean, it's almost a mirror image of the Chase Sapphire Preferred card. And that one costs $95. Now you can get like the $50 hotel credit, but still you're paying out of pocket. This card, a metal card, a nice card, the same multipliers as the Sapphire Preferred. It is a good card with no annual fee, which to me is a really good upside. The next one is no foreign transaction fees. So oftentimes no annual fee cards, you go overseas and you get hit with that 3% foreign transaction fee. Not with a BILT card. It has no foreign transaction fees, so you can use this card. Now, if you're going to use it, I would advise you to call Wells Fargo and let them know you're going to be out of the country so you don't get fraud alerts and all that. But you can use it overseas, and you're not going to get any foreign transaction fees. And to me, that's a really good upside as well. Then you have what I'll call kind of the bonuses that are built into the BILT program in general, not just the card. And that is their partnerships with different restaurants, their partnerships with Walgreens, their partnerships with Lyft, and you get extra points if you sign up for it at those different locations. And that's really kind of good, because if you live in a city, it doesn't really help me. I don't live in a city with any dining options that are on that BILT platform. But when I travel, I am, and I use it sometimes, and you can get a whole lot of extra points. So I think this is a really good upside. They're always trying to find ways to to find other partners like Walgreens recently, like Lyft, and then they have, of course, the dining program with thousands of restaurants, just none in my area, but thousands of restaurants in the country, where you're just getting that outsized value, and you can get 3, 4, 5 extra points per dollar spent, which for very valuable points, that is a great, great upside and a great, great feature. Now, before we dive into the downsides, let me encourage you, along with, of course, liking and subscribing to the video. I'm marching my way to 1,000 subscribers. That's kind of the first ultimate goal for any YouTuber, and I really appreciate the help if you would subscribe to the channel. Also, like this video. That helps more people to see it. But also, I have a channel membership. It's called RM Insiders. It's just $2.99 a month. You can cancel anytime you want. There's no obligation. And what you get for that is I sometimes release videos early, so you can see them a day or two early before everybody else. But really the big benefit is I do research on great point redemptions. This channel is all about getting outsized point redemptions. I don't trade in my points for anything less than 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 cents per point. And I get those point values all the time on international, business, and first class. And so I do some of the research for my RM Insiders channel members. So I put up polls. You can say, I want to go to here, this location around the world. We just did Kenya, and I've done places in Europe, and we've done places in Asia. And you can say, I want to go this month, and I do the research to find the best point redemption values that you can get on that. So if you'd like to be an RM Insider, I also put out some special videos all the time for my channel members, and you can look into that, and I'd love to have you on board. So now let's look at some of the downsides. Now, they don't have near as many downsides because it is a good card. I mean, overall, it's a really good card. It's the only card they offer right now, although they're considering more. They've sent out a survey to all of us who have the card to see what our preferences would be. But right now, this is the only card. And it does have a few, just a few, but significant in some ways, downsides. And the first downside is it's huge. And that is no sign-up bonus. When you get this card, you get nothing for it. I mean, it's not like other cards where if you spend $3,000, you get 70,000 points, or $4,000, you get, 80,000 points, whatever it may be. You get nothing for it. And they have made very clear, they don't ever intend to give sign-up bonuses. I guess because they give so much value in some of the other things that they offer, particularly the rent, and then in the near future, the mortgages, but they just don't give that. So those of us in this hobby, we like to churn cards and get new cards and really rack up, because you can't ever earn as many points in any other way as you can with sign-up bonuses. So that's a major, major downside. The second downside is lackluster multipliers. Now, on the first day of the month, they get pretty good, but every other time, I mean, you get 3x on dining, that's just kind of like, huh, okay. I mean, what card doesn't get 3x on dining, it seems like? So many of them do. So that one's all right. Then you get 2x on travel and 1x on everything else. That's just not great. I mean, it's all right, but it's not great. So I think that's a downside. It would be really neat if they had just a few categories that are upgraded to give us just some more value. The third downside, and it's been pointed out by a lot of people in the community, and that is that BILT, they have really bad communication with their customers. I mean, they nerf things and they tell you like in a little line at the bottom of the email, kind of hidden in there, that nobody, unless you're just going through and you're just the type of person that has nothing else to do and you read through it all the time. So the general consensus is that their communication just is not good at all. And I think that's definitely a downside. You want to have trust in your financial companies. So the fourth thing that's a downside, at least to me, is their transfer partners often change. I mean, they have had, and I was so excited, they had American Airlines for a while. Nobody has American Airlines. And I'm like, BILT, yes. And for some reason, and I'm sure it's because they didn't like paying what American was charging them for the miles or something, but for some reason, they lost American Airlines. But then they added Alaska. But I'm not, and I'm super excited about that. In fact, maybe more excited than American Airlines. I have other ways to get American Airlines points. So this is good for me, but I'm not at all confident they'll keep them because of kind of that track record in history. They didn't have American very long at all, maybe a year, year and a half, something like that. So I think that's definitely a downside. And then to me, the last downside is that there is really a poor status program with them. They have this status program, which is weird for a credit card company to have in the first place, but they have the status program. You start at blue, you go to silver, gold, all that type of thing. And you got to spend a lot on the cards, or you have to go and you have to use it in a way that you're earning so many points through your rent and through everything else to get there. And it's really hard to get to that status. You really have to make it a primary card in your wallet. And so you don't get the very best transfer bonuses. But then even in some cases lately, they've had it where there's not really much benefit to having that status. So you spend a lot of money, you use it all the time, and then you don't get much for it. And then they have just kind of strange benefits like helicopter rides in New York City. I mean, okay. And you don't get like a free companion on that. So I'm never going to use that. So it's like the status program, like why? Why do you even have that? And I know why. They're trying to get people to spend on the card to get there, but I'm just not sure. I've done the research on it and the math on it myself. It is not worth it for me to put more spend on this card just to get to those status tiers. So I think that's definitely a negative. Another negative is, of course, they nerfed that rent day benefit. It used to be you could spend a lot extra and get a whole lot of extra points on rent day, and they went and there was one of those little notifications they didn't make very, very clear, but they made it where now you can only get an extra 1,000 points a month through doing that. So that still is about what I was doing anyway, so it doesn't matter so much to me, but I can imagine to some people that nerf really, really made a difference. And then the final downside I see of the BILT program is they make you use the card 5 times a month to get any points at all. So what they're trying to do is to keep people from just using it for their rent or in the future their mortgage. And so they make you put 5 purchases on it. Now that's not been an issue for me because I just take it on the first day of the month and go all over town and pick up gift cards. So it's no problem. But for some people, I mean, if you forget, then you're getting nothing for those rent payments. So I think that's definitely a downside, although I understand why they do it. So that's my list of upsides and downsides. Overall, I still like the card. I'm super excited about what's coming in the near future, they tell us, and being able to pay my mortgage and get those points. I like some of the features. The multipliers kind of aren't that great. Not getting a sign-up bonus sure wasn't good. But overall, I think it's a really, really good program. And if you have rent or if you have a mortgage, then in the very near future, this card may be a super powerhouse in your wallet. You just got to make sure you use it enough, follow their rules to be able to get their points, but their points are very, very valuable. Now, if you think about all of this, if you think of other things that I've missed in this, either upsides or downsides, please put it down in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. If you get value out of the BILT card, what have you liked the most about it? What haven't you? If you're a homeowner, but you've still gotten value like myself, what have you gotten out of that? So let me know in the comments below. Again, thank you for watching. Please hit the like and especially the subscribe button as I'm marching towards 1,000 subscribers. And hopefully we'll see you in the next video. See you here next time.